Going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Thursday afternoon, just before Friday, Monday morning podcast. And I'm just checking in on you. This is not an official podcast. This is where I just check in on you on a Thursday, see how your fucking work week is going. And most times, you know the deal. I do it by myself. I lay around. I shoot the shit. I say things. People hear things. They think that it's about them and who is or isn't in the White House. Who the fuck knows? But every once in a while, I bring on a guest. And when I do, I don't just bring on any guests. I bring on some of the most talented people out there and some of my great friends. And today, this is no different. I have the great Ben Bailey from Cash Cab. He's got a new special. He's got a bunch of short films. He's got a new website. He's got a bunch of shit he wants to talk about. Ben Bailey.
What's up, man?
How the fuck are you?
I'm good, dude.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, bro.
Now, when was the last time I saw you? It wasn't last November, was it?
Might have been.
And
I feel
where
like
were
I've
we?
seen you once since then. But
We had to have some sort of festival.
Yeah. Maybe out here, but you're talking about...
Walking by to some social media tent.
You're talking about Madison Square Garden, no? Was
Yes,
that
we
last
did.
November? Was that a year ago already?
Yeah, it was. It was the
Shit.
the no longer Toyota Comedy Festival.
Oh, really? Is it done? Or it's
I thought isn't it just the New York Comedy
yeah,
Festival?
it's just New York now, yeah.
Do you remember how many years when we were in New York? I came to New York in like 95,
Right.
I believe. And
Yeah, that's just a couple years after me. I started out here and then went back there.
Oh, okay. And we did like maybe 4,000 or 5,000 shows together between.
Yeah, something like that. I literally sat down one time, and this is 15 years ago now, or maybe like 12, somewhere in there, and I tried to sort of have, add up some idea of how many stand-up shows I had done.
What did you think?
I came up with 10,000, and
Yeah.
that was at least 10 years ago, probably more.
And you counted shows every time you go on.
Just any set I did anywhere.
That's fair because anytime you go up, God knows what the fuck can happen, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, somebody can still. There's plenty of time to have something thrown at you.
Yeah, something awful happened,
Something. I remember I kept counting till about like 26 into 30 maybe, and then I just lost it. But I remember.
Oh,
there was
really?
a
You
guy,
were keeping track of how many you had done? Yeah, I probably did too. I don't even remember, but I probably did too.
I was always jealous of people that did that because I'm sort of like I hate stats and like trying to figure out where people are socially, but I love them in sports because they're kind of fact as far as like how many home runs you hit.
That's like a ladder too. It gives you something to go up against.
Yeah, but I don't buy into the bullshit like they're 0-8 when it's raining out and blah blah blah. With
Right.
that when you get to that shit, like I'm more into the how many yards did this guy throw for, how many did he run or whatever stuff like that.
Right, not in specific situations. They do break it down a little too far. You're like, what?
Yeah,
What the fuck?
it's the reason because we have like 19 maybe 24-hour sports networks plus internet plus shitheads like me and all that. The whole thing, it's just way too much information. And what I was trying to get to was, do you remember when the Toyota Comedy Festival first came around?
Yeah.
It was the funniest shit ever. It was just this, they would say that it was the festival. There was like nobody I ever met that was connected with it. They would just hang a banner.
It was just a banner at the regular clubs, right?
Yeah, and it was all the same regular performers. There was no industry, and it would just be. And I remember Esty would leave on this weekend. We have the Toyota Comedy Festival, and we have Ben Bailey, Bill Burr, Godfrey. It was all the same
was all
fucking
the
people,
same guys,
except it was a banner. We used to. It took us like we were all so excited because we had nothing going on in our careers.
Yeah,
we were like, oh, I'm part of the festival, and it took about 3 years before somebody finally just said. Yeah, what is this shit beyond like
this is not a festival? This is a regular Wednesday.
Right. And somehow though that morphed into an actual festival into the New York Comedy
huge festival, right?
Which is I think is there's a lot of festivals out there, but like New York City, you got to have a big comedy festival.
You got it, yeah. I think so. I think it's great. I was actually I haven't been a part of it really. But I'm supposed to be next year.
So you laid the groundwork for the first 9 years when it was just the banner.
The first 9 years. That's right. Yeah, I was a part of it for the first 9, and then they started booking people, and I missed the cut or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, you and me both. I
remember the New York Underground Comedy Festival.
I don't think I was a part of that. I'm sure I submitted a VHS tape to it.
The joke was that it was so underground that literally no one knew about it.
Was it down at like Surf Reality?
It was
and
the
like
same thing.
The
It was like a banner at a couple of clubs, and some guy had a bunch of money. He was like, I'm going to have a festival,
That's
but they flew
a great
people
way.
in from L.A. and stuff, and these guys would come in. They're like, yeah, we're here for the festival, and we're all like, what? What are you talking about?
I'm sure we greeted them warmly.
Yeah, like, why don't you go home, you fucking assholes?
Well, the last time, Well, I guess sort of meandering my way towards was that Toyota Comedy Festival then morphed into the New York Comedy Festival.
Right.
And that's what the MSG gig was last year. And as I mentioned,
amazing.
As I mentioned to you guys, obviously that was a nerve-wracking gig. And I just, I can't remember how the fuck came about. Probably from doing the goddamn Comedy Jam or whatever. I was like,
right.
I've asked my agent, I was like, hey, wait, we paid to rent that thing all day, right? And considering 90% of the money is going to go right back to renting that giant fucking place. I go, yeah, I said, can I rent a drum kit? First, I was just going to rent a drum kit and just jam with my, my music by myself, typical comedian, totally isolated. Yeah. But because of Josh Adam Meyers and the goddamn Comedy Jams, they're like, we're going to be in town. So I rented all this gear. And awesome, there was this running thing with me and Ben where for about 8 years, we were trying to get together.
Oh, you play music, you play drums, I play guitar.
We're going to get together.
Yeah, let's do it.
And every fucking time he'd come out here to LA and it's like he's running around, he's got meetings, he couldn't fucking make it. And then I get to New York and you're out in Jersey and that's just when you don't have a fucking car, it's like, oh my God, I'm going to get on the PATH train to
I can't get anybody to come out.
Gypsy cab. So finally, we're just I'd come to town and we were going to jam, and then that's when we finally solidified it, and I was going to drive out to your place. So, and you were all excited because you made it.
Yeah, I have a studio that I built and everything. I'm like, oh, we're finally going to play in it.
And he's all amped up, telling me how great his fucking studio is, and I was like, I don't know, man. I think I got a better place.
Yeah, you're like, I got a better place. I'm like, I'm on the other end, like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, what the fuck? And I just said. Did I give you the address? I think I told you it was MSG.
I said, I wrote back where, I was like, it must be someplace good.
Yeah.
Like, he's not just slamming my home studio that I built without having seen it. Yeah. He must have some good fucking venue. And I know you pops up MSG. I'm like, monosodium glutamate?
Yeah.
Can't be fucking Madison Square Garden, man. That's ridiculous.
I knew when I said I have a better place, your next text was going to come back in all capitals because Ben doesn't take any shit from anybody, and he's actually big enough to beat the fuck out of me and about 20 other people. So he's, what the fuck? I totally insulted his studio. So
what do you mean a better place?
Yeah, so you ended up coming down, and as I mentioned before, is that my phone? Oh, Jesus Christ, Bill, can you be a fucking professional for once in your life? Jesus Christ.
It just makes it real.
It makes it real.
To the listeners.
It makes people feel like they're actually in the studio witnessing how unprofessional this is.
How many of them, jumped up and looked around?
I know, because I do have
when the phone rings, they're like, oh no, that's
the standard one.
Yes,
like if you're ever hiding in the closet and there's a serial killer walking around, there's a chance when your phone rings, he won't know it's you. He'll think it's him.
He'll think it's his phone
for a second, and maybe you
can
get
the drop on him.
You can run out when he goes to look at it. You fucking smother him with your PJs.
Oh, it's a great scene in a film right there.
Oh, there you go.
The killer checks his own phone. He's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Could you once in your life be professional?
Well, I've done, speaking of playing music, is I have the hearing damage that I have, which is inevitable if you play or you do this fucking radio. The hearing damage that I have is I actually got my hearing checked. I still can hear everything, but I have a little bit of displacement as to where it is. It'll be to the right,
really?
And I start going to the left. Yeah, my wife
interesting, man.
Just laughs at me. Yeah, as long as it stays at this level.
You think it's from doing stand-up and playing music and
having these things.
Headphones on all the time?
I know Opie from Opie and Anthony says my ears are shot because what happens is as your ears get tired, you keep turning up and turning up. It's all about the duration.
Oh, right. Yeah,
those guys do 4 hours a day, and I try to be conscious of it, but I fucked my ears up in the 80s. One of my ears, I got that tinnitus. It just rings at a real low level. Or if I'm really hungover, but I mean, I don't have like to the Pete Townsend level, but so anyways, getting back to it. So
Brian Johnson, right? He had to quit.
I know that was all crazy,
right? But not from the music, from race car driving. It's just like, what?
Oh, is that what it's from?
Yeah, that's what they said. It wasn't, he's been in AC/DC all these years, like the loudest fucking band. But no, that's not why his ears are damaged. It's from driving race cars.
One of my first times I really fucked my ears up was I saw them on the. What was it? The Heat Seeker tour.
Oh, no way.
I saw him at the Boston Garden.
Nice.
I think Cinderella opened. No, I saw him down in Providence. It was a different tour. I saw them a bunch of times. Who Made Who, Heat Seeker. During that whole period, I used to go see him, and I didn't have earplugs. Dude, and as loud as that was, the fucking dude driving home, he had the fucking thing turned all the way up to fucking 10. I remember just like sitting in the back, just taking it rather than asking him, hey, can you turn that down?
Yeah, dude, you're making all of us
No,
deaf.
I had like that German Irish, just like, yeah, don't complain.
Don't complain. Suffer in silence.
Yes, it'll be over soon.
I love that when you're in the back of a car and the guy's driving like a fucking maniac, and I'm like being polite.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to offend him by asking him to slow down or whatever. Yeah. I'd rather just risk my own death.
Hey, not trying to be that guy.
Be rude.
Not trying to be that guy, but I'd like to live.
Yeah, I'd like to survive this ride.
Yeah, I don't want to be in a halo at the end of this. But anyway, so we finally ended up getting to play at Madison Square Garden, which I think it was worth the fucking wait.
It was worth the wait.
That was our
dude.
Chinese democracy. And dude, I got to tell you, man.
I wouldn't change a thing.
You fucking can play.
Oh,
you can
thanks,
really
bro.
play,
Thanks,
man. I was really like, your tone is crazy. And I got to show that to, a bunch of people when I got to do the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
I showed it to Quest and Fallon and stuff. I think I showed Quest. I showed it to them, and they were just like, wow, man, you should have given us, Jimmy's all, you should have given us the video. We would have played it. I was just like, all right, dude, it's not that good.
It's not quite on that level.
I'd like to
That was so fun, dude.
It really was. It really was. And Josh
like
was going off. And
surreal day.
yeah, and I had my then so many people play too. Like my agent went out and played. He almost didn't go. I had to twist his arm.
Yeah.
Berkowitz,
yeah.
Go up there.
I helped you drag him up there. I was like, come on, dude, we'll do Little Wing or something.
Michael O'Brien, he fucking ran up. I was like, hey, Mike, you want it? And he just ran right up. He was great too, man. So
that was a fucking great day, dude. And your show was awesome. And I didn't know anything about F is for Family before that night.
Oh, and that was
so you guys played the preview of it.
That was the first time we showed
like,
the premiere.
Holy shit, man, this is going to be awesome. I didn't even know.
Yeah,
it's great.
Well, we got another 10 episodes of that coming out, but we're here to promote your stuff. Let's start with your website, therealbenbailey.com. That's you're relaunching your website, or you just?
I'm relaunching it. It's been kind of just very basic for a long time, and I was like, you know what, it's time to just start making my own stuff and putting it out directly to people because there's no reason to go and try and sell, like there's 2 short films on there that I made that I really love.
What's the one with Judah Freelander that you made a while ago? I'm dying to see that.
Dude, it's funny. It's called Meet Me at Ray's.
Right.
And we made it like way back in like 2002 or something, or 2003. And then we both got like crazy busy after that. And it just sat there. And now I just looked at it. I'm like, I got to put this thing out. So it's just about 2 idiots meeting up for pizza at Ray's Pizza in New York, but there's a lot of Ray's pizzas.
Dude, you got a little busy 14 years later.
Yeah, 14 years later, I'm like, all right, let's put this thing out. And then...
well, what happened during those 14 years was he started doing all the movies. You did the Cash Cab thing.
Yeah.
That was so cool watching you guys like blowing up. Like I felt like our generation kind of had like an even thing. It was just like nobody knew who we were. And then all of a sudden, like... everybody started like just got some inroads. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it felt like we were all going nowhere. I mean, Judah and I used to sit in his minivan at the end of nights of stand-up in New York and just be like, man, this is brutal. We got nothing.
Yeah.
We got nothing going on,
Dude, I remember being in New York.
And then boom.
And I moved back from L.A. the first time I was out here, and I had I lost my booking agent. I had no manager. I had no agent. Oh. And I was incorporated as a business, and it just cost me too much money. I got unincorporated. And
instead of paying to be incorporated.
Yeah, because I wasn't making any money, and I went all the way back to square one, and I was living in that walk-through bedroom apartment with the guy who was on the lease, and it was me and Bobby Kelly. We had a lot of fun, but there was definitely nights. It was probably good that I was living with Bobby because we'd laugh until, the late night, and then, all right, man, take it easy. But if I had to go home and just be with my own thoughts, that happened after he moved out, and then I moved out, and then there was that period about 2000 to 2004 where, there was a lot of days just waking up going like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I mean, dude, from 2000, 2004, I think somewhere in there, I did get a half hour.
Right.
But there was like 1,000.
I remember. I think I came to your half hour.
The Comedy Central one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. There was like a good 3-year period there.
Yeah.
Just being like, okay, 33 years old, 34 years old, 35. And you're like, fuck.
This was not the plan.
Am I going to be that guy?
I thought I was okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It was,
dude.
Yeah. And then the whole alt scene was coming up.
Yep.
And that whole thing blew up. And then we were just the fucking outcast.
Totally. That was rough, man. When the alternative comedy club scene developed and then just became this big thing.
You couldn't drag an industry person.
Like, we're just in the mainstream clubs. Like, oops.
Yeah, and you
I had no idea everything was going to move to those places.
Yeah, who the hell? Oh man, those were I tell you, those were rough ones, But we used to have
Everything changed. Yeah.
So you made that thing like 15 years ago. What's this other movie that you have coming out? Because I know you're going to the screening here, which is really cool. This one's called Blam. Badly written action man.
Yeah. It's just action movies. The action stars. They are badly written in a manner of speaking.
Oh, I think it's got a lot of quality in those movies.
But they're like one-liners are like at least kind of clever, witty.
Oh yeah.
Even if they're over the top.
Let off some steam.
Yeah, totally. So I thought of this character one day. I can't even remember what I was doing or where, but I just like it'd be funny if so much of those movies now are built around those lines. If when you finally get to one of those lines, it's just awful.
Just no payoff.
Yeah, it's just no payoff at all. Which is like an anti-payoff, really. So it's kind of a crazy concept, but it just sort of fell together.
And how long are these movies?
They're both about 10 minutes.
And this is like the type of stuff you're going to start putting on the realbenbailey.com?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a smart idea because those shorts
I'm really psyched about it.
They end up turning into something. They turn into movies, and that's one thing I've learned about this business is it's just like when you make that decision, like if this feels right, I'm going to do this. So many people, they do it 1-2 times, and when Spielberg or Oprah doesn't want to interview you or some shit, you're like, well, that sucks. Fuck this business.
Yeah, I tried.
You just got to keep going because then when one of them hits, then they go back to your whole library.
Yeah.
And you got all of that stuff, and something will turn into it. But
I hope you're right about that, dude.
Hey, how long
I
you
put a lot into them. Blam is about 10 minutes, and it's badly written action man, which was originally badly written action star.
Right.
And then Lenny Marcus and I were working on throwing around ideas about it. Mm-hmm. And he was abbreviating it when he wrote back to BWAS, BWAS, or whatever.
Right.
And that made me go like, oh, maybe there's something in the acronym.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, if I make it badly written action man, then that's blam, and that's like a badly written sound effect.
You know
what I mean? It's like blam.
Hey,
so it just kind of fell together, when you feel like something's working.
Yeah.
I had all these ideas, and that one, because of little stuff like that, just moved to the front, so I just made it.
When did you shoot that one?
In July.
Oh, cool. Well, there you go. Now you've really stepped it up.
Yeah.
One took you 12 years. This one took you about 12 weeks.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Ben's on a tear now. Jesus Christ.
But it's cool. DC Benny's in it. And
I love it.
Dante's in it.
He's a great actor, DC.
Dude, he's so good in this. He's so fun. He's the evil villain in Blam
dude,
episode 1.
I'm in. I'm going to watch this. And this is going to be on...
Dante is in it. Vecchione is in it.
Vecchione's a riot.
Masavia's in it.
Masavia Greer.
I
Holy
put him in.
shit.
I was like, dude, he'd be a perfect henchman. So...
Yeah, Masavia, how we know him, he used to run the old Boston Comedy Club, which is now, you'd fucking, was it a wine tasting or wine bar?
Yeah, it's a wine bar, yeah.
I walked in there one night, I had to go in and look at it, and there was all these, people in their, 20s, prime of their fucking life like we used to be, and I just was going like, they're like, can I help you, sir? And I was just like this old man, this used to be a comedy club. And they were like, really? And I was like, yeah. I go, I watched like a 20-year-old Dave Chappelle right where that two-top is. And that was, at first they didn't give a fuck till I dropped his name.
Till you said Chappelle,
And they were like, really? Oh my God, they couldn't believe it. And I was like all offended, like, how come you don't know what's important to me?
Yeah, totally. I know that feeling.
Yeah, it's just like, well, because we moved on, old man. Now, would you like a Merlot or get the fuck out of here?
If they're serving Merlot, I'm fucking leaving.
I know, dude.
The downstairs of that place is now the Zinc Bar.
What was it used to be called? The Beacon Cafe?
It used to be the Bag It In.
The Bag It In.
When we used to drink in there pretty hard.
Remember that kid with the glasses, the kid on the guitar? He'd come down and fucking like wail like on Monday night.
David Coker.
Holy shit, that guy
David
could play.
Coker, yeah. I've still been in touch with him, man. We did a song for my last special. Coker and I wrote a song and did it and played at the end.
That guy
Cash Cab Blues, the silly Cash Cab Blues tune.
Right.
Because I loved Coker so much. He's such a great musician, man.
How long have you been playing, by the way?
Since I was 12.
Yeah, you could tell.
I was 12 years old. The guy that lived behind, this English family moved in behind us, the Sedgwicks. And the oldest guy, the oldest
Fish and
son,
chips, love. Yeah.
Hello, is this your yard? Yeah. Is this your garden?
Oregano. I was talking about that in my last podcast. Like every fucking ingredient, spice, they always say differently.
Yeah, there's a lot of little...
Basil, oregano.
Yeah, do you have any basil? Dude, my girlfriend, you've met my girl, right? She's Australian. I have a new bit around one of those little things that still come up. these little differences between how they speak and how we speak. And she said, I'm talking about my daughter going horse riding.
Right.
I'm like, horse riding? Like, we say horseback riding. And then I'm like, why do we specify?
Yeah.
Horse riding actually makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, kind of get into
We only ever ride on one part of the horse.
Horseback riding.
Yeah. But you just said horse riding.
Get off its neck.
Yeah. Horse neck. So I have this whole bit about it. But there's so many little things like that. But so this British family moves in behind us. The oldest brother is like, I'm 11.
What are their names again?
The Sedgwicks.
I just want to hear you say that.
Andrew Sedgwick. John Sedgwick.
Just the royalty is with the urgency of that accent is just fucking tremendous. I would
It's
listen.
not fair, is it? There's so much gravitas
Yeah,
that comes with that accent. It just, we can't
sounds
compete.
so fucking important. Everything
it
they
does.
say.
Yeah.
So sorry.
No, that's fine, dude. So the oldest brother is like 25 or 26, and he's a sound engineer. So he's got a studio in their attic. He builds a studio in their attic, and he's working on doing sound mixing for some albums, like some pretty big stuff like that.
And what was his name?
His name is Andrew Sedgwick. Okay. Still is, as far as I know. But so I would go over there and annoy the shit out of this guy. I was just a little kid who I was so curious about all his equipment and stuff, his studio and everything, that he got fed up with me asking him a zillion questions, and he just put a guitar in my hand. Here, play with this. So I started playing with it, and 6 months later I bought it. I saved up my money
bought it
for my
off him?
paper route, and I bought his.
Oh, you had a paper route too.
Yeah.
Oh, you say route, I say route. Look at that.
Route. I had a paper. Wait, which one did I say?
You said route. I thought route was Midwest.
I don't. Well, see, I have a little Midwest. I lived in Michigan when I was little.
Oh, I didn't know.
So I have this weird mix of accents.
Yeah.
I lived in the South too. So I
Were you
kind
an
of don't
Army
have
brat
an
or
accent.
something?
No, my
Your
dad just
running
changed
from the
jobs
law?
a lot.
Oh, he
He's a
changed jobs
hitman.
a lot?
He's a killer.
So how many times were you the new kid in school?
4.
I did it
I
3
think.
times.
It's brutal. Fucking brutal, right?
I still remember the kids that were nice to me.
Yeah.
I still remember when I moved, the last time we moved, or maybe the second time, this kid, Keith Hannon, the first recess, goes, "Hey, man, you want to play catch?" And he had a tennis ball.
And you're like,
and I was just like, "Oh, thank God."
Oh, that's
Because it was
amazing.
bad enough. It was bad enough
dude.
coming in. Like, we were like 4 days. We moved to the town. We were like 4 days. It was already 4 days into the school year.
into the school year, right, yeah.
So then we came. And,
Dude, I had the very similar thing, man.
and how they bring you in. It's like you don't just I didn't just show up. I didn't get on the bus or anything like that.
Right.
Like we went down to the principal's office because we were late and everything, and they were like, "All right," and they just walked us down, and she just came walking in, going, "Okay, class, we have a new student." They're all looking at
You're
me.
like,
I kind of like energied my way through the last one. I hung my coat up like, "Hey, how are you?" I made a lot of noise
Oh,
and shit.
nice.
I went over and I sat down, and then that's when I just sat there and I felt like, of course, my desk I felt was like right in the middle of the class. I just felt everybody glancing at me. I was like, just sitting there with my fucking orange hair. Like, I know, I don't like it either. Fuck off. So
dude, that's brutal. Being the new kid is fucking hard. I was
Yeah.
tall, like I was a big kid, kind of at that age.
Yeah,
when we
that's
were in
a
high
good
school,
thing.
I wasn't that big. Mm-hmm. Everyone sort of caught up with me, and then I grew again later. But when I was in 4th grade, I was one of the bigger kids. So it seems like it'd be great, but no. All the kids who were the bigger guys, I had to like fight them.
yeah,
I had to fight my way through. First day of school, people were choosing who I had to fight on the fucking playground. I'm like, this is not a
I
good
always
start.
lost. I always lost. I fought this kid. I remember. I fought this kid. This is sort of kind of when I look about, like, it was sort of racist the way the teacher handled it. He was the only black kid, and for some reason we fought. We fought like 5 recesses in a row, and he kept kicking my ass. And finally, I remember I was starting to win, and he had these fucking work boots on, and then he just went like bam, 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 like 3 times in my shin. I was like, dang! I started crying, right?
Oh, no.
And I was just sitting there crying. I remember she fucking. As we used to say back then, balled him out is what we used to say.
Right,
We get
yeah.
yelled at.
She balled him
yeah,
out.
yelled
Yeah,
at
that's
him,
right.
and then came in. I was sitting there crying. She came over and she like rubbed my head. She even thought
So you just got away with it, basically.
I was kind of like maybe
because you lost.
Oh, because I was so pathetic, or maybe I just looked like a little, a little beat up Ron Howard. I don't know what, Ralph Malph or
She's
something.
like, there, Ginger.
Yeah, she was.
Be okay.
I actually thought about it later, like, why was she comforting me? We both got into it every fucking recess. I was clearly not like
You weren't
trying
an innocent.
to get away from the kid. I don't even know why we were fighting either, because then we ended up being like friends. It was just like that little kid shit.
Yeah.
And I still remember somehow I slipped and fell, and when I did,
During the fight?
yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
and then he
fuck that.
had
That's
his
happened
work
to me,
boots.
too.
I think he fell down too. Maybe it was just like with the heel of his boot, tongue sticking out. You know, little kids when they're really trying to make an effort.
Yeah.
Just, that was it. Just crying my ass. Dude, I had a
Dude,
bunch
I would
of those.
cry even if I won the fights when I was a kid.
Oh, because just the emotion.
It's just
You're
like, what happened?
Yeah.
I beat him up.
I remember one time I was at a
days,
birthday party and we were playing street hockey, and this one kid who played hockey was like really good. He kept lifting my stick and kept taking the puck, and he was like fucking twice my height.
Oh,
I got
knocking your stick up.
yeah, and I got
taking
so
it.
mad. I turned around, and I just started fighting him, and he just kind of like he like leaned back and kind of like let me fucking get like 3-4 in, like missing kind of, and then he just went blam and blasted me in the side of the head, and I fell down. I started crying. And I walked away, and I just remember screaming the top of my lungs as I was walking, because I used to cut through the woods,
Right.
and people were yelling from the
To
party.
get to school and
no,
back?
no, I'd cut through the woods to get to my friend's house where we
right.
played street hockey.
Oh,
So
right,
I was already into the woods, and people were screaming, like, "Come on, Bill, come back!" And I was in the middle of the woods by myself, going, "Fuck!" I think his mother yelled one time, and I just went home.
You're in the woods alone.
Yeah. And this is the maturity of the other kid. This is walking through the trail. Just your head was always
so
hot. and
familiar.
shit,
That's such a real moment.
yeah,
I feel like I lived the same thing. Like,
and what was funny was I came home and I told my mother what happened, and it never dawned on her to call over there to drive me. All that overly just getting involved with shit parenting that people have done over the last like whatever since we were kids. She just was
it's
like, all right,
standard
well, all right.
see you when you get home.
Yeah,
or
well,
whatever.
I have things to do or whatever, and then that was kind of it. And I remember the next day, the maturity of the other kid was when we were on the bus. I was like ignoring him and stuff,
Right.
and he just kind of yelled at me. Everybody stands up and you're waiting to get off the bus. He yelled, "Hey, Bill, let me talk to you when we get off the bus." And I was like, "All right." When we got off the
Wow,
bus.
that's cool.
Yeah, dude, this is 5th grade. He literally just goes like, "Yeah, sorry about that." I was like, "All right, man." And it
Wow,
was
that's
fine.
impressive,
Yeah,
dude.
I should have learned that
That's
lesson,
great.
but I didn't.
Fuck that kid.
Huh?
No, I'm just kidding.
No,
What was his name? You remember his name?
Yeah, I don't want to say everybody's name. I probably shouldn't have said it
okay.
because people get all weird and shit.
There's still
but,
there are
like,
actually real people who are still alive.
yeah.
today.
His first name was Tom. Put it that way. He's a tall fucking dude.
Tom.
Dude, I was way out of my fucking weight class, and even the ass kicking was a gentlemanly ass kicking. He just gave me one shut the fuck
Just
up,
a
sit down.
bonk, quiet little kid.
Yeah, there was no reason for me to fight. I was just mad because he was better than me. It was really immature, even for that age. I'm still ashamed of myself. So anyway, so this guy ended up giving you a guitar. That's really fucking
Gave me a
cool.
guitar. Yeah, it was so cool.
I guess you had
And
to pay for it.
I got it. Well, I could go over there and play it whenever, but at some point I was like, I'm going to save up and buy it. I think I bought it for like $75.
Did he teach you any chords or anything, or was he?
No.
Yeah,
he
you-
just left me to it, But then my sister's boyfriend was a guitar player, and he was quite a bit older, and so he showed me some stuff, and pretty soon I was like, I knew I could figure out some songs. I always had a decent ear. I could pick stuff out and find it.
But that was unless you had the money to take lessons. That was the only way to learn back then.
That was it.
I
No
felt like,
lessons, no,
like kids today, the shit that they can see on YouTube, someone will just totally break the thing
man.
down.
Yeah.
Which is
Just
great.
show you everything, yeah.
Which is great, and that's why there's so many monster players out there. But I would suggest, if as they start to show it, to sort of turn your back to the screen and see if you can just listen to what he's doing, and just so you're
Yeah.
always developing your ear. Because I wouldn't want to be that guy couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, well, that's
it's like
part of
almost
the
like
fun
you're
is
illiterate.
figuring it out,
Yeah,
But I also think that maybe one sort of downfall of everything being out there for anybody to learn is you don't develop your own style of guitar, or whatever it is.
right.
I play guitar differently than most people, I think, because no one ever really taught me how to play. I just started playing it.
Right.
So I have little things that I do that are probably unique to me. At least I hope they are.
Right. And some technique I would be like, actually, that's
Yeah, that's wrong. You're holding your hand wrong, or you
even though it still sounds good, but
Yeah, you're like, well, but this is what I do. So But I think music is like that. It's your expression. Whatever you do, that's what you do. So
yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's definitely it's kind of a great thing for it, and it's also a weird thing because then I definitely there's always there's the top fucking It's just I feel like everybody's influence now is whatever subject it is. The first page, the first 3 links,
Right, yeah.
becomes like 90% of people's like consciousness. Because if you
Yeah.
look at, I should probably because I even do that. I should probably do want to go on YouTube next time I go to look something up to try to just click to like what the fuck is on page 3?
Yeah.
Like I want to get
Go
into
to page 99.
Yeah,
see what the hell's on there.
the underground.
Yeah. There's 100,000 pages to look at of most things, right? There's 100,000 hits on how to play, you know.
Yeah, I played right before I came over here. I'm doing another one of those.
Oh, really?
The goddamn comedy jam. So I have another song.
Nice.
I gotta try to get together. Which
What
is,
song? What do you got? Or you can't say yet.
I don't want to ruin it because
All
it's part of the show when they get there. But it's I always stay pretty much, 70s and 80s.
Right.
I dress up like the drummer that I'm gonna. So it's just completely
Dude, it's
ridiculous.
awesome.
Yeah, because it's.
I want to do one of those with those guys. I gotta connect with them.
Yeah.
Because they were like, you should do one when you come out next. But now it's been a year.
Yeah, you'd kill it.
That'd be so fun, dude.
I wonder if I don't know if Josh and those guys came out for the Toyota and now New York Comedy Festival.
I think they were there. I think they were in New York for that.
Dude, I have so much fun with those guys. I remember one year I did Montreal, the comedy festival, just to come in. I played with those guys 3 nights in a row.
Oh, it's
just
awesome.
to do it, and then I did a stand-up show. But like the reason I was there
Was to do the music.
yeah, because I played for fucking like 20 years by myself.
Yeah.
Like it was so.
Me too. Same thing, man.
But it was such like a kind of thing of like why I ended up becoming a comedian because I was so introverted.
Right.
And like it didn't dawn on me until like the mid 2000s. I started playing in the 80s. I was just like,
Right.
hey, kind of the reason for playing is to interact with other human beings.
Yeah, to share it with people, yeah.
Yeah, and then thank God that show came around. And the first time I got to like, well, I sat in with a few other people, but the first time I actually kind of came out, people knew who the fuck I was, and I had to sit down. It was a really like such a fun thing. So
Playing music live is like different than stand up, obviously, but it's so great.
but I think
I
it's
just love it, man.
it's fun for us too because we're not in a band and we don't have to deal with that because
Yeah.
I know that guys I've met that are actually in bands. It's like the big thing is how to keep it fun and when it starts becoming a job. Like you've toured
Yeah,
with other
yeah.
comedians, and when you
Yep.
tour with comedians, you're gonna have the substance abuse guy, you're gonna have the pussy hound, the late guy, the egomaniac.
Those are all the same guy. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, on,
That's all Tony Woods, isn't
on
it?
some.
No, but you're
Tony,
right.
Tony
yeah.
might have a couple. We all have a couple of those.
I'm one or two of those guys from time to time. But yeah, I mean,
what two are you? Would you say?
I'm late, and what were the other ones?
Substance abuse, egomaniac, pussy hound. I would say I am.
I'm definitely late, and maybe a touch of substance abuse.
I'm substance abuse guy. Cigars, drinking.
Yeah.
I can. I don't know if this makes me fucked up or anything, but like, I know I could shut it off anytime I want to. I just don't want to.
What do you mean, the drinking or the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I could go. I did it.
got to that point
I did
too,
it.
yeah.
I know you went a few years. I did like a year and some change. Year and a couple of days. I was just like, I missed it.
Yeah.
But it's not like it like completely like ruins my like I don't know. I mean, I know when to do it.
Yeah, yeah. I do it
think so.
much more controlled than I used to. Like when I stopped because I was like, holy shit, I'm out of control here.
Oh, all right.
I gotta lay off and regain my footing. So
Oh yeah, I think
5
that's,
years
I think
quit.
I think that's the difference between like maybe addicts and like fucked up people like you and I, where it's just like I just when it gets out of control, I was like, all right, well, I'm not gonna do that for like a month.
Yeah, I stopped for a while, yeah.
Although this year, I kept saying that, and it was never a month. It was always ended up in like 3-4 days. I had a real stressful year this year. Just a lot of stuff.
Oh, that sucks.
Just it's just
What, career stuff?
being busy, and all my free time kind of fucking
Yeah.
dissolved and sitting there, writing on a show. It's just you come home, your brain is fried. And I probably should have picked a better habit, but it started becoming coming home and having a whiskey, right? And then it
Right.
became 2, and then it became 3. And then my wife is finally like, hey, you fucking booze bag, what are you doing? Literally called me a booze bag. And then I dialed it back. And for me, it's
Could you like laugh when she said that?
oh God, yeah.
Yeah, you weren't like, That's good.
No, my wife is
Because if you're
hilarious.
like, what the, you get all mad and be like, oh, wait a minute.
I need it.
Yeah.
No, if I did that, no, that would have been bad.
That's a bad, if that's your reaction, then you need to think about it.
Yeah, standing there.
If you're like, yeah, you're right, I need to rein it in, sorry. Then it's cool.
Yeah, I just had a couple of bottles hidden behind toilets and shit. That's totally that's totally normal. No, I think
I think everybody that kind of needs to have some little shit that's just there. It's like a little thing that you keep just for you.
No, you have to do it right now.
You know what I mean? Like everybody's got maybe some secret little shit that's
Or
just theirs, whatever it is.
I saw this guy one time, this old dude. I'm going to move the mic here. I'm sorry. I got to lean back at some point. I have bad posture. I saw this one time. I was staying at this hotel, right?
Right.
And there was this old dude standing there, all right? And like every night, like clockwork, because I would finish the shows, I'd come home. He'd come walking out. It was one of those hotels you could, he had a little dog or whatever nowadays. Everything's like a fucking therapy dog, so you can get away with it.
It's a working dog.
Working dog,
But you're
yeah.
not supposed to ask.
Yeah.
I asked the guy in the airport. He's like, you're not supposed to ask about it.
Well, I did.
I'm like, yeah, well, if he didn't have a sweater that said working dog on it, I wouldn't have fucking asked.
Yeah, what's its job?
Yeah, what's
Did it major in business?
So sorry, go ahead.
Every night this guy would come out and he'd take out a little pouch. It was tobacco, by the way. He'd take that out and he would roll his own cigarette. And I just saw it. It was like, this is this guy's whole ritual. And
Yeah.
He sat there and he would only smoke one.
Right.
And he would milk it and he would make it last for like a half hour. And he would just sit out there quietly. No phone, no iPad, no nothing. And I remember seeing that going like, yeah, I get what that guy's doing.
Yeah.
And I wish I had the time to do a little more of that. We just have that. I think guys kind of need like alone time. I don't know how women are. Women are a little more social, but
I agree.
they probably need it too. I have no idea. I shouldn't speak for them.
I don't know. My girl seems content to just be together and and talk and chat about everything all the time. And sometimes I'm like, why am I getting all cranky and fucked up right now? I'm like, I just need to be by myself. Like I definitely need alone time.
I think that's why
We got a million things going on. We also are. These careers are all consuming if you let them be.
right.
Because we don't have an office. We don't punch a clock. We don't show up at one time and then leave at another. It's just always going on.
Right.
You have ideas. You have creative ideas. You have schedule shit that you're keeping track of.
Yeah, I remember
You got a million
shot
things going on.
when
in
I
your head.
shot my special, right, on the 21st of October. I was like,
This year, just shot a new one?
Yep. And I'm
Nice,
like,
dude.
all I got to do is just fucking, edit that thing, look at it a couple times because I know what I want.
Right.
And I'm like, and I'm just fucking done, man. I'm going to have time to Christmas shop. I'm going to fucking put my feet up, play some drums and blah, 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 blah. I mean, I don't know what's happening. I'm fucking more busy than ever. And it's just like all of these, I don't know. I don't know.
Editing is going to take a while, bro.
Yeah. But I've been able to do it this time where I sat through and I watched the whole fucking thing, which is something it's brutal. It's you for a fucking hour and a half.
It's hard.
And the longer you watch it, you're like, it's not even funny anymore.
Yeah, you
Are
can't
people
tell.
even going to get, it's
like,
fucking
oh my God,
horrific.
that's an old bit. Or, it's just like, fuck.
But every time I go to do one, there's like a major, like I say, you donate a kidney. There's always a chunk. I'm like, get that the fuck out of there and just go right to the end and then we're done. And today I figured out what it was and it went from, I felt a little bit too long to now being like, oh, fuck, it's over already. Which is that
Oh, it's
sweet,
perfect.
that sweet,
that's right, what you
sweet
want.
spot. Yeah, you don't want to have.
How long is it?
It's about 77.
Okay.
So that's about an hour 15, hour 16. But I mean, it was getting like when they took all the footage from both shows, it was like an hour 38. I'm like, all right, there's no way. So we cut it down. And then it was like 129, and I'm like, but I like everything. But I'm just
Yeah.
I think you have to, if you like release like a concert movie, I think it's got to be, I would think like 90 minutes if people
Yeah,
are
if
going
it's just you, and it's meant to be a feature.
But I just feel like Netflix, if you're going to go on there and people are going to sit down, if you're lucky enough that are actually going to click on your shit, it's just
out of
like,
all the choices.
you just got to you got to go AC/DC on them, where they don't play any ballads. You just got to fucking.
Just rock right through,
Yeah, unless you're like Chappelle, which Chappelle has that way where he can just really fucking like bring it down. Like just watching him do that opening monologue on SNL. I mean, just like the level of shit that he's doing effortlessly, not even consciously, the ups and downs, peaks and valleys, and then the huge laughs and then the poignant moments and all of that. It's just like that was, I'd be happy if I could have done in an hour and a half what the fuck he did in like 8 minutes. That clinic that he that he put on. So,
he's an amazing, super talented guy, man.
Always was.
Yeah.
Always was. When he was standing where someone's drinking a white Zinfandel right now, where the old Boston Comedy Club is. Hey, so what did you, were you shocked about the election results?
I wasn't that shocked.
We finally met somebody who called it. I knew somebody had to bet Trump.
I didn't bet Trump. I didn't want to bet Trump, but I did a tour. I was on tour in a lot of southern states for, the month leading up to the election, and nothing but Trump signs.
All right.
I mean, that's all I saw.
It's kind of once you get
I didn't see a single Hillary sign. I saw hundreds of Trump signs. And I was like, this might be real.
I thought it was
like, holy shit.
Dude, never in a million years did I think. I thought Hillary was the made person at the end of the day.
I did too.
Everybody was going to be, yeah.
Until that tour.
You know what's funny? I did Conan the day after the election, and I got so many people like fucking yelling at me, thinking like, how the fuck could you say this about Hillary? How the fuck could you say that about Trump? Like, you can't say anything about anybody. I try to evenly trash both of them and just say, hey, it'd be nice if people stop yelling at each other. Somehow people missed all of that.
Yeah.
And they I think, especially the Hillary people, because they're so disappointed that they just needed somebody. I got so much fucking shit from people. And actually, somebody just texted me going like, hey, man, I saw you on that. I go, the guy was like, it seemed like, secretly you voted for Trump. And then he wrote, secretly. I was like,
you wrote secretly again?
Twice, yeah. And I was just like, yeah, like, no, I didn't vote for that guy. I didn't vote for either one of them. I couldn't stand them. I like Bernie. Bernie was my fucking guy.
I felt like right after the election, for the first time, I felt like Bernie would have won. I was like, people really want a change of, they don't know how to get it, but that's what they want.
And they kind of gave me the same old with Hillary.
Yeah, and if I was like, holy shit, if Bernie had gotten the nomination, he would probably be the president right now.
People think Joe Biden could have won. I think just like I don't like familiarity breeds contempt. I mean, everybody's fucking filthy. There was just something about like. I felt myself saying it like when I saw Jeb Bush and I saw Clinton. I just can't deal with another Bush or a Clinton. Yeah. It's such a stupid thing to say, but I was just like,
no, it's true. There's some truth to it because
I want somebody else to lie to me now. Yeah. I didn't want this guy.
Yeah,
I didn't want this guy.
Right.
I'm not saying Bernie would have fucking solved everything, but I will say all this shit that Trump's doing is fucking hilarious. Where he's like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to drain the swamp. It's like, dude. Okay, let's just say you actually go in there and you somehow do this. How slow DC works. Like, you're going to fucking drain the swamp and then what? Expose all these people and then they're all going to go to jail? And and they're going to be okay with this?
Yeah, no.
I'm going to get all the illegal immigrants out of this country. You're going to do, how are you going to do that?
How are you going to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to build a fucking wall from here to fucking California to Texas. Really? You're going to do all of this?
I think there already is a wall, for one, isn't there? There's already a fence and a wall through a lot of it. But it's like, dude,
I think at roads,
you can't stop people from coming in by blocking off 3% of the border. It's like they're coming in any way they could come in.
Well, I thought he was going to build.
That's the whole basis of the country.
He wasn't.
So people get to come in from all over the fucking place.
Well, here's how I actually think about that shit. It's like there does become the tipping point where you got too many fucking people.
Yeah,
there is that. I mean, back in the day, yeah, we needed all we could get. Because of what we were doing, which was underhanded.
That's when America was great back then.
We needed to take all these people. Yeah, get out there in the front lines. And then we'd stuck them out west. Hey, that's your land over there. Go over there and provoke them into an attack. Like, what the whole fucking thing was shady.
Yeah, from the beginning.
Yeah,
and the same goes for elections.
Well, you know what's crazy?
Government, they've been corrupt and fucked up since the beginning. Like,
I'm not gonna say the show, but I recently did a show, right? And one of the comics went up, and this person went and just trashed Donald Trump. This is after the show. After
the election.
Or the show.
After the show. They went up after the show.
After the election, right? It was like 4 or 5 days after, whatever. They went up and went in hard on Trump, blah, blah, blah. He's a sex offender, and all this type of stuff. And gradually the crowd started booing.
Right.
Half the crowd fucking boos. So then the next person goes up, who is a Trump supporter. This person goes up and supports Trump and trashes Hillary. Then the other half
of the crowd
started booing them. I've never seen
so divided.
Dude, it's literally like it's like a great SEC football game where they play on like a neutral site, like when Florida plays Georgia, and like it's half fucking Bulldogs, half Gators. It's fucking insane. Like I've
it
never.
really is like that. The country's so completely divided that it's a little scary. But the thing that I don't like is that now whatever side you're on, you're seeing the other side as your enemy. Right? When we're not supposed to be enemies. We're all supposed to, we all live here together.
Oh, dude, that ship sailed, dude.
I know.
That
I know.
ship sailed.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what's shitty. It's
Once
totally
Fox
split.
News came in and balanced out CNN by being just as ridiculously far to the other side. I mean, those networks are hilarious. Like on election night, what I would do is I would just, whoever was winning, I would watch the other network just to watch them starting
Just
to
to see
sweat.
what they said, yeah.
Yeah, and just go, no, I just for the comedy of it, because I knew there was nothing, nothing. I mean, I voted for who I wanted to vote for. I knew this fucking state was going to go with Hillary Clinton. I mean, that's a given. The oceans vote for blue, and everybody else in the middle votes for red, and then it comes down to like fucking Ohio, Pennsylvania, and
Wisconsin.
Evidently North Carolina, which I didn't know about that. But what I was happy was I actually was up to date on all the propositions and read them all. Me and my wife were reading them for like days in front of me, and like we're just laughing our ass off. Like you'd be sitting there like reading, they'd be like, do you not want them to drill for oil in the middle of your forehead? And then here's the argument for. And it'd be like, well, that would probably lead to your death. There is no oil in there, blah, 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 blah. And then it'd be like the argument gets, actually, it's the complete opposite. Drilling for oil would actually save this. And next thing you know, you're like, oh, maybe I should vote. Like, I didn't get anything out of those arguments. And then we were just laughing. You just eventually look at, well, who supported this? It'd be like, if it was anything environmentally, it's like Ed Bagley Jr. All right, that guy's been riding a bike for 30 years. Okay, if he's down with this, I'm going with Ed Bagley.
He's powered his whole neighborhood by running on a hamster wheel.
You know what's funny? Hey, do we know who, what happened with the condoms in porno? Did that pass or no?
No, it failed.
Nice.
Is that actually a thing?
Yes, keep porno, keep some jobs here in the valley, right?
So no, they don't have to wear condoms in porno.
I think that was like a
Or they
big...
do.
They do, yeah.
They do, okay.
I thought it didn't pass.
Oh, this is classic Americans. We don't even know.
All right, I'll look it up.
We're going to look it up.
I thought it used to be that way. And now that they've taken
There was
it,
a
it's...
thing where they had to wear condoms, and then they were having a hard time. I think it was...
You could not be further off the mic, so you got to make a quick point here.
Okay. I think it didn't pass, so they don't have to wear condoms, but they can't get permits right now. They're having a really hard time getting permits.
Okay, so
Porno permits.
we're saying that maybe it passed, but they can't get permits. Oh, Jesus Christ.
We only had two things to vote on other than offices. We had to vote on whether or not we wanted to allow casinos in northern Jersey.
And what'd you say?
I said no, and it didn't. It was no. It was overwhelming no. They're not going to be able to put casinos in northern Jersey, which is, in my opinion, very good.
Right.
I don't hate casinos,
Chris
or anything,
Christie's
but
fat.
I don't think they should be everywhere. Would you say Chris Christie is fat? Is that what you
No,
said?
and I coughed. He's fat enough. He doesn't mean to get that skim bag and going to Jersey Mike's even more.
And then the other one was like, should we designate the money from tolls and fuel tax into public transportation, which
Well,
is what
first
it was
question
meant
is-
to be for to begin with.
First question is, where's it going now?
Well, anywhere else, I don't know where. I really don't know where. But it was meant to be allocated toward that, a certain percentage of it initially, and then that got changed somewhere along the line. So we
Ours was like,
voted, changed it back.
was legalizing weed, keeping it legal or something like that. It was the condoms. It was like, should we repair? There was one about building up schools and everything where initially you're like, yeah, this is a good thing. And then the whole thing, the whole proposition was written by this group of people that are builders. And I'm, wait a minute, I don't like that. The contractors
yeah.
are writing this shit up. So what's going on with this? There was,
Wow, there's a lot of interesting shit on there.
Yeah, there was
bill out here.
I can't even remember. There was like at least another 12. There was
Wow.
so many.
And you have to vote on every one of them.
Yeah, but what was great was we figured out the best we could what it was, and God knows what is attached to all of that shit too.
Right,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. What else is
So I
there?
had all my answers before I went in there. So what was taking everybody like a good 20 minutes if you were reading it for the first fucking time. I had them all, so I would just look at the page. Yes was up, no was down. I would just look at my answer sheet. I'd be like up, down, down, up, and I just fucking blew through it. I was great. Felt like I was cheating on a test. Well, before we get out of it, we got to get the answer here. What's going on?
It did not pass, yeah.
It did not pass.
It did not pass.
But they can't
so-
get their permits to make porno.
Tough time. They're making it tough.
Yeah, even that is
Who's
complicated.
behind? Who's the conservative behind that wants to get porno out of the valley? Did Tipper Gore move to the Valley recently? Remember her? The NPRC?
Just like one guy that wrote it up, and if it passed, he would have a job for the rest of his life, basically making sure there were condoms in porn. So he was.
So one guy wrote at it?
One guy
That does
wrote
not sound real.
That's what
So, like, I could do that?
Yeah.
He's the one guy who supplies the porn.
But it
business with
has to
condoms.
it's got to get through some sort of fucking legislative horseshit, right, to
Yeah.
then get put on the ballot. So he's got money.
Yeah.
All right, because I was saying, then the guy who said the rent's too damn high would have got something done. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
In New York?
Rent's too damn high.
Rent is too damn high. I hated when, like, he kept getting laughs and kept hanging around, and then, like, one of those politicians was like, I agree with them. The rent is too darned high.
That's right.
I don't know how those politicians exist in that level
They're
of
like
phony.
cartoons, yeah.
Yeah, Al Gore was one of the worst I saw, and that was the thing I think about Trump that was amazing, was watching him just be himself, which a lot of people don't like who he was, but he was being a person. A lot of people don't think a good person, but like
He's candid. You can't accuse him of not being.
dude, it was like they were sitting at the table, but it was politicians, and he was the guy running the table, and no one could get him. I couldn't fuck him. They could not figure out.
They're like, this guy doesn't care about anything. How do we pin him down?
And he didn't give a shit about
Change what he says from 1 minute to the next.
He didn't care about the
and
rules.
he doesn't care.
He'd be like, oh, she's allowed to talk and I can't. Oh, great. 3 against 1. 3 against. Let me look at that. 3 against 1. When he said that, it was fucking because.
It's ridiculous.
But it was brilliant. Like what he did. I mean, I'm not happy that. Certainly these fucking guys that he's putting together. I joked in my last podcast, he was talking about he's going to have change and everything. Now he's just going.
He's just doing the exact opposite.
Yeah, it's like Fuller House. He's just bringing back this old show. I was saying it was like the expendable version of the Expendables of Republicans. It's just,
dude, it's the whole thing to him was just a game. It seems if you see him interviewed now, it's just like he's basically like, oh, I won, and that was it. It doesn't matter how.
you know what's
I just
weird?
won.
You know what's weird about this? Someone was,
And they're like, but you're doing all this stuff that you said you weren't going to do. And he's like, well, who else is going to do it? Basically, it's like Marx Brothers shit. Like, you can't just say who else is going to do it. That's not an answer. But he
it
doesn't
is.
give a shit. He's
But
like,
this is what I
that's
found-
as good an answer as you're getting. So fuck you.
But the thing about the media is they had no follow up because they never dealt with a guy like this who would just admit to
typical follow up doesn't work because they call him out on it, and he just says, "Yeah, whatever. Who cares?" And it says something else.
Well, the back in the day when they would call a politician out, they'd try to get out of it and they would stammer and then they would just keep, hitting them with it until just the whole embarrassment of the situation, the person would drop out. He just would admit to it and they had nothing.
Yeah, and they're like, "Well,
When they said, "Oh,
this is supposed to be bad."
I keep using this as an example. They were like, you've said this about women, you've said that about women, you said this about women. He goes, no. He goes, I said that about Rosie O'Donnell. And it got a huge laugh. And then the female reporter goes like, no, you've said that about other women too. And he just goes, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, but then it's over.
And it was over.
Yeah, he made a joke.
And she couldn't even, or anybody in that panel couldn't have been like, you're probably right. So you're saying you are sexist. Is that what you're saying? Do you think that but I still think because of what the fuck he represented, he could have just been like, yes, I am sexist.
Yeah,
I can't believe you're not sitting here making me a pie or something. Now get out of here and let the men handle it.
Clearly, people were not put off by that.
I don't know.
But it's so hard to tell what's true and what isn't. Anything you read about Hillary in the last 3 months or 5 months or whatever could have been taken out of context.
Absolutely.
And put in a way to make her, show her in a certain light. And same with Trump. It'd be silly to assume that one side's doing it and one side, the other is not.
No, they all are. Because
So
you know what amazes
it gets
me?
very difficult to tell what the fuck is real and what isn't,
You know what's
People
fucked
get
up?
their news from fucking Twitter.
Guilty.
You
Guilty
know?
as charged.
Me too, man.
Facebook. All of that. You know what killed
I'm
me
real Ben
was...
Bailey on Twitter, by the way.
Real Ben Bailey. The real Ben Bailey. BAILEY.com. TheRealBenBailey.com. I was actually amazed the election night when they had the pictures of each candidate and it was finally one that the other side hadn't picked. And I was just like, oh, look at Hillary. She looks like a nice person. Look at Donald. He looks like a cool guy.
Yeah, they look
Because Donald
okay.
was always like,
He always looked-
the scowl, and he had like the thing, like that Rudy Giuliani picture that the left is using, where he looks like he's roaring. He just came up from the flames of hell. That thing is fucking. You can do that to anybody.
Oh man,
Especially when you.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, when you're that old, it's such an effort just to speak. Your face is going to contort, and they just have to take a couple of pictures. You're going to look like Satan. And then Hillary always just had that crazy fucking smile and the bobblehead thing going.
And really unflattering light. Like she looked like,
Oh, dude, they did everything.
Skeletor.
They did everything they possibly could to both of them. Like Trump,
Yeah.
his eyebrows by the end of the election were like beneath his eyes. It's like
the whole thing's a
Franken-
joke. The fact that he actually has won points out a point that he made repeatedly through the campaign, which is that the whole system is fucked. It doesn't work right.
Yeah, but I will tell you, all those people that think that he's somehow going to get them out of their fucking hole, it's
ridiculous.
no, they don't give it. It's on you. It's on you. And they try to act like these people are going to save your fucking ass. They're not.
No.
They can't.
No.
And that's the uplifting message of this podcast.
It could be worse, dude. There's like 1 billion people, literally 1 billion people in China that live in abject poverty.
Oh, totally.
And are brainwashed into thinking that that's their place.
I don't know. It's
1 billion people.
I know.
It's like, what the fuck? How would you even begin to try to
have you seen? This is the thing. too.
tackle an issue like that?
Have you seen?
There's no way to do it. It's just that's how it is.
Have you seen those cities? Like, they have a few cities over there that have so many fucking people. Like, it literally looks like there's a fire, but it's just the polluted air.
It's just the air, yeah.
It's just the air. So, like, when they were having the Olympics over there, at some point when they were going to shoot something, film it for the world to see, they told everybody to, like, not drive or use any machinery or anything. God knows what would happen to you if you did.
Oh, God.
For
Yeah.
like I don't know, 24 hours or 3 days or some shit. And they just let all of that shit in the air just settle down onto the ground, because that's what it is. Yeah, because there's all, like, even like out here, like a lot of times people think that the haze is smog, but like smog is brown, but haze is that clear thing, and that haze is all the dust and all the shit that we're
the
kicking up
shit that's
driving
all
around.
around,
Yeah.
yeah.
So everybody, I think basically, what's that new thing the kids are doing? You act like a mannequin or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they made like 1 billion people or 500 million people fucking do that.
Do that
And
for
then
a
people were
week.
just like, this is a great place to have people go swimming.
You guys just have to hold still
Yeah.
until we're done with the 100-meter backstroke.
Yeah. Well,
Don't
before
even
we get out of here,
fucking
dude,
Oh, yeah, there's a couple more things on there that
do you
I
have
should
any
mention.
any more movies or something? Like, do you know like the next one that you're gonna do as far as the short film?
I don't. I think I might do another episode of Blam.
I like
Because
it.
I like it a lot. And it was really fun. And like the idea was that another comic or actor friend of mine will be the villain, probably another comedian. And so we'll just keep doing those. But
I can definitely see that being a series,
thanks,
a web
dude.
series,
Yeah,
webisode.
It was initially it was going to be a web series, but then I made the first one, and I was like, I don't know if I want to put all that into this every single time, just on my own.
Right.
I might rather try some other stuff and I want to see what people like.
Yeah.
Get some feedback once the stuff is out there.
There you go. And then that leads to something. The next thing you know,
Yeah.
you have something on. You got something on fucking Amazon or Netflix,
Yeah.
right? You're
Yeah.
walking down a red carpet. People yelling, Ben, what are you wearing? What are you wearing?
I'm like, I don't know.
And then they go back. then they go back through all your a recently unearthed gem. Meet me at Ray's. Now you sat
I
on
also
that.
have, for 12 years. Now it's a period film.
Well,
It actually was anyway.
I want to see it because I want to see because I'm one of those guys that I love seeing New York.
You'll love it
in
then.
any era that it isn't now. Like I love
Yeah.
seeing it in the '90s now. I love seeing it in the '80s. I love '70s of this shit, and then the '60s and '50s when it goes back.
Yeah, those are great. I love those.
Yeah,
too.
like I watch old fucking movies for that reason. Like sometimes I'll watch an old movie and I'll see a guy driving down Sunset, and you just see how spread out the buildings are.
Yeah.
And how they're shooting, so you don't know about the traffic. But it's just like some of that stuff where it was just you could just see the hills and stuff. It was like, yeah, that back then that's when they had like you want to go shoot a mountain lion and you like walked out your backyard.
He's just right down the road.
Yeah, in L.A. So, anyways,
Dude, I should say before we go, sorry, I also have 2 podcast shows that are going to be on the new website.
oh, cool,
One of them is a storytelling show.
beautiful.
You remember DC Benny and I used to do that show, Urban Myth.
Yeah. Wait, what venue did
That
you?
was at. Almost got to this earlier when we were talking about Zinc Bar, because that was the original Zinc Bar was on Houston Street.
Yes,
and
downstairs.
that's where we would do Urban Myth every Tuesday. The new podcast I have is called Tall But True. It's a storytelling show. It's pretty much Urban Myth.
Oh, cool.
As a podcast. So it's like the two of us tell a story and then a guest tells a story. So love to have you do that
Yeah,
sometime.
man.
Call into that if you want. And then another one.
And that'll all be on therealbenbailey.com.
Yeah. And then one where my girl and I, it's called Speaking of Movies. We watch a movie and then we just talk about the movie afterward.
Those are all good
which
ideas.
we love, which we did anyway. And then one day we're like, we always have these great conversations after we watch a movie. Let's just start recording them. So,
Can you recommend a movie you've seen lately that you liked?
dude, I watched, you've probably seen it. I'm way behind. But I just watched Batman versus Superman.
I liked it.
I've loved it, man. You've already seen it. Yeah. I thought it was great.
I liked it.
I said that yesterday at Benson's podcast, Doug Loves Movies, and everybody's like, what? They were like, they thought it was terrible.
You know what I liked about
it? was
it?
awesome.
I liked the.
It's
if
like
we're
10
knocking the
movies in
table
one.
around here.
Sorry, but
I liked the how the way they had our like the government getting involved, going, we can't just have this guy acting unilaterally and whatever the fuck that means, just basically helping out who the fuck he wants, and people claiming him and all that.
They have
I was
to
just
be
going
held
like,
accountable, the
that really-
superheroes, yeah.
that actually seemed like some shit that they would do and then demonize them and all that. Like, I always forget movies the second I saw them, but that thing stuck out with me. I really liked that.
I
But,
thought it was great, man. And it's have you ever seen Watchmen? Remember that one? That's the same director, Zack Snyder, I think his name is. He made The Watchmen, which is like super dark superhero movie,
Right.
based on this graphic novel, which is awesome. You should check it out. You'd love it. There's
The
a
only-
character
the only
in there
thing-
called the Comedian.
Oh,
There's
cool.
a superhero called the Comedian. He's like super dark.
The only thing I don't
character.
like
It's
about
fucking great.
Superman movies is it always comes down to the kryptonite. It's never,
Right.
he never bangs the wrong girl. You just know, okay, when's the green chain getting wrapped around his neck?
Yeah, when's it going to happen?
Yeah,
It's the
and-
only thing that can do it.
The only thing. He's too powerful. That's the thing. It almost gets a little boring. Well, Ben, we finally got you on the podcast. I
That was
finally
great,
got to
dude.
play jam with you, man. It was fucking awesome. And continued
Yeah.
success. Check out all things Ben Bailey at therealbenbailey.com. You can also get there by going to 3btv.net. That's 3babytv.com. B as in baby, I should say.
.net.
.net, sorry.
Unfortunately, it's
Dot-
.net.
dot net.
.com is like some kids who have a site with funny videos that suck. I shouldn't say that. That's mean.
Oh, I know. I know what
they're
you're
okay,
saying.
but it's not mine.
You
It's
went for
wrong
you went for the joke there. 3btv.net. All right, I'm going to read a little bit of advertising, and that's going to be it. Hope you guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you on Monday, you fucking cunts. I'll see you. All right, here's the advertising here. Nia, can you stop moving the shit around? Tracker. We're all losers. Newsweek reports the average American wastes 55 minutes a day looking for things they own but can't find. Get the fuck out of here, 55 minutes. I'm a dope. I only look for 48. Fuck Newsweek. No, kidding. Share a story of when you've lost something you needed. Oh, I remember one time I was taking a dump and I was like, where's the toilet paper? So I'm walking around with my fucking belt around my legs. Tracker makes losing things a thing of the past. And I'll tell you how to get one for free in a minute. Tracker is a coin-sized device that locates misplaced keys, wallets, bags, computers, anything in seconds. Just pair Tracker to your smartphone, attach it to anything, and find its precise locations with the tap of a button. It's that easy. Lose your phone? Oh shit, there it is. Press a button on Tracker and your phone rings, even if when it's on silent. Creepy. Tracker is finding over 1 million misplaced items each day. Order yours and never lose anything again. Listeners to this show, get a free Tracker Bravo with any order. Go to thetracker.com and enter the promo code Burr. The hardest thing you'll ever have to find is their website. Go to tracker.com right now and enter the promo code Burr for your free copy. What? Free Tracker Bravo with any order. Again, that's tracker.com, promo code Burr. Hey, where's the next read? Oh, there it is. Thank you, Tracker. Lyft. You know about Lyft, right? It's the app that gets you rides in minutes, on demand, 24/7, for less than the cost of a cab. If you tried Lyft, you know what I mean. With Lyft, you just download the app, request a driver, they show up in 3.5 minutes on average. That's really fast, in case you didn't know there. Every Lyft driver is fully vetted through their 10-point safety standard. Have you ever killed anyone? 2, do you jerk off when you're driving? 3, right? They go through the whole thing, so you'll be safe, including criminal and DMV background checks. You'll know you'll get around quickly and safely. Why can't I read tonight? Lyft drivers are rated after every ride, so only the best stick around. You don't have to worry about getting into a filthy car with some creepy dude. With Lyft, you can tip in the app, which obviously leads to happier drivers. I mean, 9 out of 10 Lyft rides get a perfect 5-star rating from the passengers. It's just better all-around experience. Well, what happens on that 10th one? We'll leave that out. Bigger isn't always better. You fucking size queen. Lyft isn't the biggest ride-sharing app, but it's the fastest growing and the highest rated one. I'm talking quality over quantity. You know who they're taking a shot at here. It rhymes with scuba. Thanks to Lyft, you got an easy way to avoid drunk driving. You never have to bum a ride, and you never have to worry about parking. A lot of people are actually getting rid of their cars and relying on Lyft to get around. And you know what? I don't blame them. I didn't say that. You wrote that. Well, if you live in Nebraska, I think you're out of your fucking mind. Right now, Lyft is offering our listeners a special deal. Get 3 rides up to $10 each. That's a $30 value. You get those for free when you enter the promo code Bill Burr. Just download for free the Lyft app today and enter the promo code Bill Burr in the payment section. You'll start with 3 free rides up to $10 each. That's up to a $30 value. That's promo code Bill Burr. Once again, enter promo code Bill Burr. How do I stop this fucking thing? Press home to unlock. Ah, Jesus Christ. All right, I got 2 more here. Oh, here we go. Boop, boop, boop. MeUndies. MeUndies. Why did you vote for Trump? Ba-doo-doo-doo. MeUndies. MeUndies. America's taking a dump. What were you supposed to fucking do? They got rid of Bernie. And they had that fucking twat. All right, picture a world where putting on a new pair of underwear isn't just fresh. You're stepping into a better day. Think about it. Underwear is the first thing you put on and the last thing you take off, unless you're Matthew McConaughey. Why would you settle for anything less than the best feeling underwear on the planet? MeUndies focuses solely on producing the most comfortable underwear you've ever experienced. Your balls will thank you. Your pussy will also thank. You know, it wasn't bad. My friends at MeUndies sent me a few pairs a while back, and now I can't imagine wearing anything else, evidently. It really makes each day that much better. For the price of 2 cocktails, MeUndies will deliver your favorite new pair of underwear right to your fucking doorstep. Better day guaranteed. You try them on. If they're not the most comfortable underwear, do a couple of scissor kicks, see how your nuts feel. If they're not the best feeling undies you've ever had, they'll refund you and let you keep your first pair for free. Included in the price is the sweet touch of Modal, a special fabric made of the best-in-class raw materials that are scientifically proven to be 3 times softer than cotton. Now, they've been saying that for a year, and the cotton people have not said shit, so I'm believing that's true. These uber cozy undies are sold exclusively on MeUndies' website, where you'll enjoy free shipping in the U.S. and Canada. The rest of you can go fuck yourselves. And for a limited time, everyone in my audience gets 20% off their first order, but you have to go to our special URL, MeUndies.com/Burr. With MeUndies, with the MeUndies Better Day Guarantee, you have nothing to lose, so don't wait any longer. Go to MeUndies.com/Burr right now for 20% off your first order. That's MeUndies.com/Burr. And lastly, but not leastly, Simply Safe. Ever find yourself almost all the way to work? Or maybe you're out with your family and friends and you get that nagging feeling. Why did I marry this woman? No, not that nagging feeling. You start thinking, did I close that window? Did I lock the door? You just don't know. It could drive you nuts. Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore when you got Simply Safe Home Security. Also, if you don't buy any nice shit in your house, you wouldn't care either. But that's a different story. It's a nice extra layer of protection to know Simply Safe is there. Simply Safe has an arsenal of sensors to protect your entire home and keep your family safe. Simply Safe got rid of everything that makes home security such a pain. There's no long-term contracts, no hidden fees. They won't gouge you. It's $14.99 a month. That's 3 times less than what other companies charge. And here's some big news. Simply Safe just released its brand new high-definition security camera. The camera is different. This camera is different. It connects to your security system and sends your smartphone a video the second something happens at home. Hey, honey, look at that guy stealing all our shit. You can see the stubble on the side of his face. This HD is incredible. You can see everything that's going on, so you won't have to wonder anymore. Call to action, okay? Check out Simply Safe's new camera today. Just go to simplysafeburr.com right now. That's simplysafeburr.com. Hey! simplysafeburr.com. All right, that's it. Now I got to hit the home button. I got to do the whole password fucking thing, and then...
Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr. It is the Monday morning podcast, and it's late in the day, and I finally got to it. And this is my 4th attempt at trying to do a good one. Get a good one. Remember that line? What movie is that from? Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Mr. Hand. You remember him? Do you know the guy who played that? He was in My Favorite Martian, and he took that gig back in the early 60s, and for like 30 fucking years, every time somebody ran up to him, they said, hey, it's that fucking Martian guy. And he hated life, and he hated that fucking show, and then he did that movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And one day the clouds parted, and some young kid came walking up to him and said, hey, Mr. Hand. And evidently he was really excited. Isn't that a nice show business story? I don't know what the fuck that has to do with my podcast or this fucking bus that is in front of me that is not moving. Go. You're a bus. There you go. Merge, you cunt. Anyways, if you're new to my page or my website, I do one of these every single week, and people send me questions, and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. I try not to say cunt during the podcast, but occasionally it slips out when there's a bus driving 2 miles an hour. What the fuck is wrong with me? I can't say words lately. I was working at Zany's in Nashville, and I kept stumbling over words, and then I started thinking, wow, I keep stumbling over these words, and then I almost started stuttering on stage. And speaking of which, if you came out to see me at Zany's in Nashville, Tennessee, I just want to say thank you very much. And even though I just said thank you very much, you might have sensed a little bit of anger underneath that. And it has nothing to do with you guys. It has to do with the fact that there aren't enough hours in the day today. And I'm fucking frustrated. And I basically only have about 10, 15 minutes to do this podcast. And, you know, usually I go on for about 45 minutes, but today, or whatever, half hour, this is going to be like an EP. Kind of like Guns N' Roses, that Lies album, except I'm not going to drop the N-word, you know? So Slash, if you're listening to this, if you're one of the 14 people who listens to my podcast, you're not going to feel awkward or have to have to fucking explain yourself. I don't fucking know. People, you know what? I got nothing. I got nothing this week. I got nothing funny to say. I am fucking burnt out. I just did back-to-back weeks on the road, plus at college. You want to hear my week? I was in Washington, D.C., then I was in L.A., and then I went to Colorado, then I flew to Indianapolis, did the Bob and Tom show, and I had a night off the night before, and because my brain never shuts off, I'm like, well, why the fuck would I just chill out in Indianapolis when I can drive 4 fucking hours up to Detroit and go to a Red Wings game? And that's what I did. Except I thought it was only a 2-hour drive, and it turned out it was a fucking 4-hour drive. 4.5, actually. And I went up there. It was Red Wings Penguins, which turned out to be one of the games of the year. But I had to leave before the third period ended, and I missed the Penguins come back and win in overtime. But I still got to go to that arena, and I couldn't believe how small it was. You know, there was no upper deck. It just kind of went straight up. You know, it was kind of an old school building in like a 1975 kind of way. But it was really cool, and the fans were awesome. And, you know, I don't like going to that expansion shit, and I don't like fair weather fans and that. Detroit's got good fans. And there were a lot of Pittsburgh Penguin fans there talking a lot of shit, even when they were down 4-2 after 2 periods. And I missed them all talking shit when they came back and won 7-6 in fucking overtime. And where was I? Driving by a fucking cornfield in the middle of Indiana by then. So my brain right now is frazzled. And, you know, you might wonder what the fuck is wrong with Bill. And, you know, I don't have any answers. I'm driving a hybrid. I just drank 3/4 of a Sam Adams beer, one of their seasonal brews. And I'm on my way to a writer's meeting because I have to go write some sketches for something that I'm shooting. And I'm exhausted. This is one of these times when I just want to sleep for fucking 9-10 hours and wake up the next day and just stare at the fucking wall. But I can't because I have to do this. I have to somehow put my voice into a sketch, which is not an easy thing to do. I find it's very hard for me to write sketches because I write very set up, punch. There's not a lot of layers. There's not a lot of left turns. You know, it's just like my act. There's a lot of screaming and the F word. So I have to figure out how to do that. And we're at a red light, so I think it's time for a podcast question. Look at this. This is just like the cash cab. Okay, Bill, question number 1. Have you ever been asked to write material for another comedian? First of all, look at this fucking guy riding down the street with a bicycle. I hate when people do that. They put a reflector on their back, and then all of a sudden they feel like they're sort of like a motorcycle on some level. They start riding with traffic like they're Kevin Bacon and Quicksilver. You know, nothing makes me want to lean over and open my passenger door and commit vehicular manslaughter, like some fucking turn your lights on. Somebody didn't have their lights on. Like that. Dude, you know what? I don't know. What the fuck was I told? What was the question? Have I ever been asked to write material for another comedian? Yes, I have. I have written for, I wrote for one roast, the Shaquille O'Neal roast. And I got to admit, you know, at first I started writing the jokes and I was like, I don't want to write jokes for another comedian. I want to write them for me and I want to be able to say them so I get the laugh. But then I realized what's cool about a roast is you're not like writing for a comedian's act where they're then going to go on HBO and kill with some joke and get credit for it. It's a very specific thing. It's not like I have a chunk of material about Shaquille O'Neal. So what do I care? And I wrote it, and evidently it went really well. People in the writer's room, I guess, liked it, and I got a real kick out of it. And I got one joke on the air. And I believe the joke was something about watching Shaquille O'Neal play basketball was like watching a retard fuck. Something along those lines. Something along those lines of that he was just such a big dude. You know, he's such a big fucking dude that even when he dunks the ball, it doesn't look good. He looks like a fat kid dunking a ball on like a Nerf hoop set, and that was basically it. And I went the cheap route. I use retard as a reference, you know, so I'm not proud of it, but it got on the air. All right, here's another one. Do you agree that the reason many TV shows are abruptly canceled is due to the media's attempt to control what we watch, such as reality TV? Okay. The media's attempt, as if the entire media is working together. If you're into conspiracy theory, I would work a little higher up the ladder and try to see who owns media in this country, and you'd be surprised. It's not that many people. So, I don't know. I don't think reality TV is an attempt for them to control what we watch. I just think it's really cheap. And there's something mesmerizing about watching 10 losers in a house talk shit about each other. As much as I make fun of it, did that guy just fucking bump into me? What the fuck is wrong with you, you fucking idiot? That guy just fucking rear-ended me. Hang on a second. You fucking dude, there's no fucking way he just did that. I swear to God, I think some guy just literally tapped my bumper. Hang on a second. You know what? This would be great if we get to a fucking red light, because I know he didn't hit it hard enough. Hold on a second. Did you bump into me? Hang on a second. Did you just bump into me? You didn't? Okay. I don't know if it was my car or not. I was wondering why you had such a nonchalant look on your face. I'm like, so you didn't? All right. I'm just making sure. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, all right, man. Okay, so anyways, evidently you didn't bump into me. I think my car just had like a hiccup, but it literally felt like somebody just tapped my bumper. And I looked in the rearview mirror, and this guy was right on my fucking ass. You guys almost heard an LA moment. What if I fought him? I wonder if I have enough speakerphone. Dude, then they could have used my podcast in court. Then I finally would have got past like 15 fucking listeners. God damn it. That was a moment right there. That was a moment that almost happened. What a stupid question. Oh, did you just bump into me? No, I didn't. Oh, okay. Jesus, can you believe I'm not a private investigator with that sort of fucking police work? All right, so anyways, I got to wrap this podcast up because I'm at where the fuck I'm at for this goddamn writers thing that I'm doing. But you got to admit, that was pretty exciting there for a second. All right, let's try to blow through some more of these questions. Oh, before I get off the phone, thanks to everybody who came out to see me at Zany's in Nashville, Tennessee. I had an awesome time, and literally tons more people showed up since the last time, which really made me feel good that, people actually saw my special, they liked it, and it made them want to come out, and I'm really psyched about that. And I know I've been telling you guys I'm putting the dates up for 2009. They're definitely getting up this week. I talked to my booker, and they're supposed to be emailing me something, so I'll get the dates up on my website, up on my MySpace page. Please come out to see me, and you'll watch me put together my next special that hopefully I will tape this coming summer. So anyways, here's a long question about corporate America. Hey, Bill, let me tell you why I effing hate corporate America, especially Verizon, ! They sold me a BlackBerry that recently, for the 5th time, the keyboard wouldn't work. Couldn't make or answer calls and couldn't do anything. Each time it would happen, I'd go to Verizon. They would fix it for me, but the last time, a few weeks ago, a buddy of mine in the Army was calling the day before he shipped off to Iraq, and I was unable to answer the call. Jesus, that sounds like a Lifetime movie. I can't answer the phone. I need to say goodbye. So I went to Verizon furiously, as you should have, demanding an explanation on why they sold me such a shitty phone. They told me that what they could do was replace it with the same model phone, in which my response was, all you'd be doing is giving me a shinier piece of shit. God bless you. God bless you. That's exactly what you should have said. And then you should have taken the phone and buried it in the side of his head and blamed him for that design as if he designed it. All right, leading me, and this basically led him to sign up with AT&T, and now Verizon wants to charge me with a $125 early termination fee. I've been arguing my case with them on the phone, trying to explain to them that if I still had Verizon, I wouldn't be able to make this phone call. They kept telling me that they understand why I'm upset, in which my response was great. So if you understand, why you still ask for my money? And basically, there is no way that I'm going to buckle and give it into them. Good. Good for you. I keep calling them, disputing them. I'll keep calling them, disputing them for 2 years if I have to. To me, it's a matter of principle, because what pisses me off is how these corporations are allowed to conduct business. I don't even need read the rest of this. Exactly. They're bigger than you, and they have more money than you, and they can wait you out, and then they can send you shit to a collection agency because you're the little guy, and they know that you're not going to do that. This is what you want to do. You got to do that old school thing. Just go, I want to speak to a manager, and you keep going up the ladder, asking to speak to somebody above them, get everybody's name, keep using words like ridiculous and outrageous, like this is ridiculous, this is outrageous, and just do it the way like an old lady would. And just don't get off the phone. Don't ever curse. if you never curse, then they can't they can't hang up on you. I'm full of shit. I don't know what to do. You know what? Go burn down their fucking building or something. But I'm sorry, man. I really didn't answer that question well, but I got to go in and do this meeting. So whatever. Thanks for listening to the Monday Morning Podcast. I know this was really short, but hey, we had a nice yelling match, with a potential yelling match with another person in a car, which turned out to be friendly. How bad did you guys want that to escalate into violence? You know you did. And you could have heard me get my ass kicked. I think I just rolled down the window like I've ever taken a karate class. It was fucking ridiculous. But fortunately, shit didn't go down that way. So anyways, it was very short, very exciting TJ Hooker episode of the Monday Morning Podcast. Keep listening. Please keep sending the questions. And that is it. God bless all of you. Please come and see me at Caroline's in New York City the first week in December. And that is it. And I apologize to the guy who I thought hit my car but really didn't, if he's a podcast listener. All right, dude. That's it. All right, guys. Take it easy. Bye. Guys, take it easy. Bye. Guys, take it easy. Bye. Guys, take it easy. Bye.